went to Utah for $11.20, and here's how. We should only be loyal to family and friends and not these airlines and hotels because they ain't out here doing us any favors. So welcome back to the Points Lounge, where 6 minutes is going to change how you travel. So this week we're talking about 3 tips that I use when I first got started in the points and miles space. So tip 1, only be loyal to family and friends. Recently I took a trip to Utah. And one thing most people know about me, I feel like I'm a Delta girl down. I know I said not to be loyal, but sometimes I just have a preferred airline. However, Delta be taxing. And so in order for to make this trip work and to use the least amount of points and still get the times I want, I ended up having to fly both American and Delta. My trip ended up being about 39,000 miles and $11.20. Had I stuck with Delta, I would have had to spend about, 65, 70,000 miles, which most people have nicknamed Sky Pesos. Yeah, no reason to do that. Instead, I was able to book the flights using miles on both of those airlines. By not being loyal, that means I had a surplus of American miles and I was able to use those. All that to say, make sure you're earning miles on credit cards where you can transfer it to different airlines and hotels. So not just having a Delta credit card, but having something like the Chase or a Bilt or a Citi or a Capital One. All right, and this is a big one. Because I know, Amazon is probably most of our favorite places to buy the most random things, but using your points to fulfill your Amazon cart is possibly the worst thing ever. You're getting like 0.01 cents per, it's not worth it. Instead, if you want to shop on Amazon and earn points, specifically American points, you need to sign up for a website called SimplyMiles. SimplyMiles occasionally has different promotions for Amazon, so you'll be able to earn some American points on top of the card that you spend with. With SimplyMiles, you do have to have a MasterCard, so just keep that in mind. So sometimes what I would do is I'll use my Bilt card to pay on Amazon so that I can earn the miles. The other option for Amazon is to get a credit card that does 2x points. So I oftentimes will use my Capital One Venture because no matter what I purchase, it's 2x instead of the 1x that you get most of the time on most of your credit cards. And my final tip is you have to put your debit card down. If traveling more is one of your things that you want to do, or if you just want to be able to sporadically go somewhere and not really have to worry about it, you have to use credit cards and use them wisely. And so what you want to think about is if I'm going to pay for coffee or if I'm going to grab lunch with a friend, you must put all your purchases on a credit card and pay them off. There's no point in using a credit card if you're not going to pay it off and then you're paying interest, and that really makes no sense. You need to pay them off every single month so that you are earning the points and it becomes worth it for you. I have a ton of credit cards and I literally pay the statement balance every single month because carrying interest doesn't really make sense when I'm trying to travel more. So here's my recap of my 3 tips that I would use if you're starting to get into points and miles and you want to travel more. 1, you gotta ditch your loyalty. Now I still have a little bit of fake loyalty to Delta and I still choose them as much as I can because I do want status. But realistically, if I put all my spending on transferable credit cards, I could always find Comfort, Premium Economy, or Delta first because I'll be earning enough miles. 2, don't use your points for Amazon purchases. I did it when I first started out, but now that I know all the things I know about points and miles, I'm never going to do it again unless there's a promotion. So sometimes Amex does a 50 or 40% off by using 1 point. If it's 1 point, then do it. I definitely just did it to get some stuff for my apartment. And finally, you got to put your debit card down. There are tons of credit cards out there that are amazing with low annual fees, and you got to be okay with the annual fee and get them. Some of my highlights that I would push you to look into: Capital One Venture, Chase Sapphire Preferred. Those are the ones that I use and I would push most beginners to because I think they're some of the best credit cards out there. Come back next week for another episode of the Points Lounge where 6 minutes is going to change the way you travel. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can stay tuned for weekly drops of the Points Lounge.